The mic is on. Yo, I really crack myself up. No, that's so funny. You can definitely tell that I planned that joke. But hey guys, hello and welcome to another Desperate Housewives themed video. I have pink on my nails. I'm sitting on a pink rug. I'm sitting in front of my pink beanbag. Can you guess what we're doing today? It's okay, I'll tell you. We are talking about the boyfriends, the fiancés, the husbands, the lovers of Desperate Housewives. We're going to talk about all four ladies and their romantic conquests throughout the seasons of Desperate Housewives. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to be telling you who my favourite Desperate Housewives husband is. Okay, thank you for being here for another video. Let's get into it. So, first things first on my list, we are discussing Tom Scavo. I couldn't even say it with like a positive sounding voice. Tom Scavo. Okay, Tom Scavo's positive traits were he loved them damn kids. He did love those kids. He was funny. Guys, I can't lie, I think that might be it. Tom Scavo is not the finest man in the land, let's be honest. There were many a time where I just thought, do you hate Lynette? Do you just hate her? Is that what's happening here? Because I remember, so things that are coming to mind, her getting cancer and him being like, you're a cancer bitch. Have you ever thought about how this makes me feel? All that time when Kayla, his daughter, came in and was like literally like tormenting Lynette, and he was just like, no, we're gonna make it work. Kayla's family, which yes, she was, but like she's also hurting your other children. So maybe you should listen to your wife about that. Like him just being a pushover with his mom and his dad and their pretty terrible behavior towards Lynette and their children. And also, oh my gosh, I think the worst side of Tom that I can think of, was just his treatment of her during the divorce, like during the separation. He was like gallivanting around with, what was her name? Was it Emma? He was bringing her up and down to family functions, introducing her to every Tom, Dick and Harry. Sorry, no, until both of us have signed that paper, we are technically still married, and you are gonna like put some respect on my name. Like, what is this about? I feel like Tom's biggest problem was the lack of backbone. Like, come on. That being said, I kind of feel like Tom and Lynette are actually made for each other. Like, neither of them are perfect. Because I remember, was it in season 1 when Lynette, and this is not to dog on my girls. This video is not about dogging on my girls, okay? Because we love them. But I remember in season 1, when Tom was up, I think it was season 1, when Tom was up for a promotion, and Lynette was like, if he gets this promotion, he's going to be away from home too much. And literally, she went to the boss of the company, or the boss of the company's wife, and was like, yeah, I'm scared if Tom gets his promotion, what it's going to do to our family. And then they revoked his promotion. And then he came home so sad and so sullen that day and was like, like, I thought I really wanted this promotion. And she was just like, yeah. And I was like, girl. Yeah, neither of them are presented as perfect characters, definitely not. And I kind of feel like, in a way, they're like those characters that are just like, who else are they going to be for? Like, I feel like they were just meant to be together. In terms of Tom Scavo as a romantic conquest, please keep him far away. We don't want that. But thank you though. Okay, next we are talking about my babes, Brie Vanderkamp, and we're going to start off with Rex. I'm doing a sigh because Rex, again, like, it just felt like he hated her. It just felt like he hated Brie from the jump. Season 1, he was just like, yeah, like, I'm tired of living in this detergent commercial and I want a divorce. And it was just like, we know that was probably the worst thing that Brie could have heard at that time. There was that, his whole like sexcapades with the, what was her name, Maisie Gibbons, and like how it was like discreet but also not discreet enough because it eventually got found out. Also, him being on his dying bed and being like, yeah, Brie, I forgive you, when she actually didn't do anything wrong, okay? It was her like fling that was trying to kill you, not her, okay? And she had no knowledge of that. But yeah, like him dying thinking that Bree like was literally murdering him is insane to me. Things that like spring to mind when I think of like the positive sides of Rex. I do like, although we don't get to see them in like high school or anything, I feel like he was a good like boyfriend to Bree when she was younger, because they were together for what, like probably like 20 years, because I think it was when they were out of college, and obviously like when we meet them they're in their like probably mid 40s. Yeah, and I feel like, you know, the way Bree spoke about like those, the few times we get to hear her speak about it, the way she speaks about those like times, it seems like genuine love. It seems like genuine like young love, and I feel like that's just nice. Also, a couple of times when Rex was still alive and Andrew made out like he was like gonna threaten Bree or be physical towards her, Rex was just like, absolutely not, like had him against the wall and was like, if you ever speak to your mum again like this. And I don't know, there's something about that I really like and respect. Like, be the man of the household, like protect the woman, tell your kids when they're stepping out of line, and make sure everyone is just like in place. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, in terms of his romance towards Bree, we don't really get to witness much of that, so I really can't give him many props for that. It kind of felt like Bree was very much running that ship in terms of keeping that marriage alive, and he was kind of just there going to work, making sure the kids were like fed and whatever. Yeah, so again, sadly, Rex Vanderkamp probably not going to be rated that high in terms of the Desperate Housewives romantic interests. Sorry, Rex. Do you know what's funny though? I do actually like Rex as a character. Like, I felt like it just added a lot actually to the Vanderkamp like family. There was a lot of tension, there was a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and I feel like it was quite comical as well, like watching their dynamic play out together. So I feel like he was written really, really well. But no, I don't want any future partner to have any traits really that Rex had. So yeah. Okay, so next up for Bree we have Trip. Now, I don't even remember Trip's last name. I don't buy it. I actually don't buy the Trip and Bree romance. I feel like it was almost rushed in, because it was like, oh, we want all the ladies to have like, you know, a happy ending and to be partnered up, and, you know, the last romantic interest that Bree had at that time was Trip. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of the time that we saw them together, it was pretty much mostly about the case. There was like a bit of flirting, but it wasn't anything, to me, it wasn't anything significant enough to be like, okay, these two are perfect for each other, that they're going to end up together. I actually was more persuaded by, what's his name? Did I write it down? The builder guy. I don't remember his name though. But yeah, I felt like there was just a lot more to see with the Trip and Bree romance, and I kind of wish it had started maybe like half a season earlier, so that we could like really understand and fall for who they were as individuals, and then together a bit more like significantly. It kind of just felt a tiny bit too rushed. So I don't really have too much to comment on him, because I feel like we didn't really get to experience him in a romantic sense, and like how does he solve problems, how much does he really love Bree kind of thing. So yeah, I don't really have too much to say about him. Sorry, Trip, but you know, you got my girl off the murder charge, so we love that. Alrighty, next up we have Orson Hodge and Bree Vanderkamp. Now, controversially, I do think that these two were probably meant to be. Despite Orson's treachery and genuine like terribleness, I actually do think that when they were, you cannot tell me, when Bree and Orson were good, you cannot tell me that they were not meant to be together. When they were like covering up Danielle's pregnancy together, when they were plotting against Orson's mum and like ex-wife together, they were like a force to be reckoned with. When they were like throwing their dinner parties and having the best time and going to their operas and all of this, it was a match made in heaven. It was just his betrayal. Was it the whole Karl thing? Is that where it started? I think all of it started when Orson started to feel like Bree's morals were like really shifting because of the whole Juanita Solis thing with Andrew. That's where I think their relationship began to really like disintegrate. But prior to that, sorry, they were meant to be. And I do feel like it's weird because obviously you can't separate the actions. Like, he is all of his actions, and that includes basically turning her in for murder, which is obviously terrible. But prior to all of that, like, I do feel like he was a very, very, very good husband. Obviously, I wouldn't want him because he's disloyal and, you know, is a little sneaky snake. And was literally ready to turn in. No, not even ready. Like, he fully did turn Bree's friends against her, which is obviously terrible. But yeah, I do feel like they, aside from all of that, were like actually a very good and strong couple. And I kind of hate it for Brie that like after everything that she went through romantically, she didn't end up with, in my opinion, the person that's like, this is my girl's man, like he's gonna hold her down, like. And I really do feel like she deserved that, because her husband died. She went out with bloody George Williams, who was a literal murderer. She was with Karl Mayer, it was a mess. She had Orson, the like sneaky snake, the snitch, the blackmailer, who did not support her dreams when she was like acing it in her career. She had the young builder who I think was actually like closer to her person than anyone else really. Then she ended up with Tripp, and obviously that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying he's not like her person. I'm just saying like I feel like we just needed a bit more. Anyway, this is about Orson. Orson as a husband, 2 out of 10. Would not recommend. Yeah, sorry Brie. Sorry, you deserved better. You did. Okay, next up we are talking Susan Delfino. And Susan Delfino's conquest. And I'm going to keep this brief. I'm sticking to 3 max per housewife because, yeah. First up, we are going to talk about Karl Mayer. Ooh. Karl Mayer. Now, he was a dog. Let's not sit and beat around any kind of bush. He was a dog. I don't even think he knows how many times he cheated on Susan, and that is just, we can't stand by that. Like, romantically, I think they did show a few clips where like he would do sweet things, but then it was always just like, you know, up against, oh yeah, that time I kissed your cousin at the Christmas party, that time I kissed your friend, and it was just like, like, not a man to be trusted. Not somebody that you would want, you know, long term as a like significant partner. I was so confused, I cannot lie, when Karl and Brie were like shacking up and it was becoming serious. I was like, what's happening here? These two do not belong together. They're like at moral opposites of the spectrum. But it was very, very entertaining TV, I can't lie, when they were getting together. But anyway, yeah, Karl Mayer, even, I remember the scene where he was breaking up with Edie. He left her a note on her bed. She ended up waking up as he left the note. And he literally just like, was like, and shut the door and ran. And then it was so funny because he tried to get into his car and start the car and drive off. And he ended up crashing into, I think it was the rubbish truck. It was hilarious. Like one of those Desperate Housewives, like, oh my gosh, moments. But yeah, he lived a crazy life. As a romantic interest, again, please stay far away from any calls in your life, okay? Ladies, we deserve better. Ian Hainsworth. Oh my gosh. The British heartthrob. I do feel like, I'm not gonna lie, the way their story started, I don't know how they were going to explain that to anyone if they were to like get together in the future. Like, yeah, you know, where did you guys meet? Oh, you know, we met in the hospital when both of our partners were literally in comas. Like, that's, I feel like you would maybe have to make up a bit of a lie to cover that one up. That is crazy. I actually really did quite like Ian for Susan. I feel like he treated her actually really well. He was obviously possessive and obviously jealous, but honestly, can you blame him? Sorry, but your ex lives across the street, finally is remembering you after this coma, is starting to fall back in love with you, is having eyes for you, wants to marry you again. I probably would have acted potentially even worse than Ian. So I actually understand his, like, you know, his insecurity and his jealousy and everything like that. And yeah, again, I feel like he was written quite well, convincingly. And yeah, I really liked Ian for Susan. He was going to treat, like, that guy had money. She would have been set. She would have been fine. You know, he really did care for her and care about her and wanted, yeah, to just like take care of her. Like, what woman doesn't want that? So yeah, Ian as a romantic interest, I'm going to rate him pretty highly. Ian was a good one. We like Ian. We do like Ian. Next up we have Mike Delfino. Mike Delfino, oh man, yeah, that is a man. He was a good man. He was a good and present father to MJ and also to Julie, which I really loved. I really loved how, you know, he stepped into that father role for Julie in a way that wasn't like overbearing, especially when Karl was still around, but like was not like, oh yeah, you just live under my roof. Like, no, I care about you as much as I care about Susan and as much as I care about MJ. You are in my life, like I will take care of you. I really liked that, and I feel like him and Julie had like a good like relationship as well. Like even when Julie like, you know, went off and then came back in later seasons as well, which I really like. I feel like, yeah, Susan and Mike's love story, like, as like crazy as it is, I actually quite like it. Like, you know, they went through the lowest of lows, you know, like literally a car accident which literally tore their family and another family completely apart. And then, you know, a neighbor who's like trying to literally murder all of you guys, a divorce, and, you know, breaking up and getting back together a gazillion times because of a gazillion different reasons. And yeah, but I feel like true love actually did reign for them and it worked out for them. And yeah, I really do love that, and I do respect that. It was so funny because I feel like in real life, if I knew someone who was like Mike, I would never, ever, ever put him with someone like Susan. He just seems so straight talking, so like, yeah, it is what it is. So like that he just wouldn't have the patience for someone like Susan, who's so ditzy and clumsy and just all over the place. And yeah, but somehow like their love story to me anyway was like really convincing, and I did stand by it. I'm not gonna lie, like I was there for Mike and Susan, more so in the later seasons, like after the divorce, I think, than in the earlier seasons. But you know, it's all part of their long romance story. Mike as a romantic partner, oh my gosh, I love you once, I love you twice, I love you more than beans and rice. If I say, I can cry right now if I say those words. Like, oh, him as a romantic partner, like I feel like there were moments where he really did try. Like you could tell he was quite like, you know, southern, burly, like he did, it wasn't necessarily his like go-to thing, but he did try for Susan. I remember like the time where she was having those kidney issues and he wanted to have like it's I think they had given her like an estimate of like 3 months to live or something like that, and he wanted their anniversary to be special, so he like organized a picnic or whatever in the woods, and like everything was going wrong, but like yeah, the effort was definitely there. And yeah, just all round, like I feel like an all round good guy, like definitely a protector. The amount of right hooks this guy like hooked insane. But yeah, we do love Mike. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna probably rate him pretty highly on the bar. Yeah, go Mike. We love him. And last but by no means least, in fact, my favorite Desperate Housewives husband, Carlos Solis. Ah! If I were to pick a husband from Wisteria Lane, it would be Carlos Solis. He was a provider. He was a protector. He was a good father. For the most part, he was a good husband. He loved his family. He was funny. He was charming. He was romantic. Yeah. He had the things that he had money, okay? He had the things that I feel like a husband should have. Do you know what I mean? Him and Gabrielle definitely had their rough patches, and there were a few scenes where I think, this is borderline. Like, this is not, yeah, this... You guys maybe should not be together. But, you know, even they had a divorce, I think. They had a divorce because Gabby even married Victor Lang. And, you know, infidelity and like losing a baby. And yeah, they went through a lot. But I feel like one thing about Gabby and Carlos's love story is that I love in the way that it's written in Desperate Housewives is, in the beginning, Gabby and Carlos are selfish in season 1, and in season 8 they're selfish, but it's they've developed so much and changed so much, but it's still, you know, a change in which they're still recognizable. Like, they're still selfish, but they're selfish about different things. They're still selfish, but it's not so much about, you know, this dress and this bag. It's about I'm being selfish about this because I want to care for my family. I want it all to be about us. There's a slight difference in them, and I feel like that is a testament to character development and it being done really well. Like, obviously they're not going to be the same people because they've had children, they've been through tons of stuff together and apart, so obviously they're not going to be the same people, but they're written in a way which is still recognizable to us as the viewers. And I really like, I feel like Gabby and Carlos are the best example of that in all of the like characters. But yeah, Carlos is my favorite husband just because he is like, he would ride for those girls, for his wife and his 2 daughters. He would have ridden for them to the high heavens. Like, he loved those women, okay? And he loved Gabby, and he, you know, he wasn't shy about loving her. He was very open about it. When they were apart, Carlos was like so like adamant about chasing her and getting her back, and even the like tension that they had within that, and even trying to show each other that they didn't still love each other. you know, was still like so entertaining and so passionate to watch. And yeah, I just feel like they are the most like entertaining couple to watch, like all their spats, but also all of their like genuine deep romantic moments. Even a testament to Carlos like loving Gabrielle is him literally killing Alejandro, obviously by accident, but yeah, him killing Alejandro because he was like so instinctively trying to protect Gabrielle when he saw her under threat by him. And so yeah, for those reasons and for many more, Carlos is my husband of choice if I had to pick from the Desperate Housewives characters. And I'm sure I will now put a chart here showing the order that I have ranked the Desperate Housewives romantic interests in. I potentially could have waited to Valentine's Day to film this one, but it's okay. I'm sure I will think of something Valentine's Day themed for around that time anyway. Thank you so much again for joining me for another Desperate Housewives video. I hope you have enjoyed this one. I will put a link here to the rest of my Desperate Housewives playlist. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye.